You know what's creepy about ghost towns? They're not actually empty. I don't mean squatters or wildlife, I mean something else. Something that stays behind when everyone leaves. Something that exists in the spaces between abandoned and forgotten. My name's Eric and I'm a photographer. Urban exploration. Abandoned places. I document what gets left behind when civilization moves on. Last month I went to Nevada. To the desert. To a place that doesn't officially exist anymore. A nuclear test town. One of those fake neighborhoods they built in the 1950s to see what atomic bombs would do to suburban America. They called it Yucca Flats Site 7. It was erased from maps in 1963. Condemned, sealed off, forgotten. But I found it. I went inside. And what I discovered there, what's still there, waiting in those empty houses, it's made me understand that some places don't just get abandoned. Some places get frozen, trapped in a moment that never ends, and if you're unlucky enough to walk into that moment, you might not be able to leave. I'd been planning this trip for months. Yucca Flat Site 7 was legendary in urban exploration circles, almost impossible to find. No roads leading to it, no markers, just vague coordinates and rumors. It was built in 1955, a complete suburban neighborhood. 40 houses, streets, sidewalks, even mannequins dressed as families. They placed them in living rooms, in bedrooms, around dinner tables, made it look lived in. Then, they detonated a nuclear device 3 miles away. Wanted to see how a typical American town would fare. The blast didn't destroy everything, just changed it, damaged it, contaminated it. Afterward, they sealed it off. Too radioactive to salvage, too expensive to demolish. So they just left it, fenced it in, posted warnings, forgot about it. That was 70 years ago. And according to my research, the radiation levels were safe now. Safe enough for a quick visit. Safe enough for photographs. I was wrong about so many things. I drove out on a Saturday in late September. Left Vegas around 6 a.m., headed northeast into the desert. The coordinates led me to nothing, just scrub brush and sand and emptiness. But I kept searching, driving dirt roads that barely existed. And finally, I saw it. A chain-link fence, rusted, half collapsed, and beyond it, houses. Dozens of them, small, identical, mid-century suburban design, all painted the same faded yellow, all with the same front porches, the same windows, the same doors, frozen in time, waiting. I parked, grabbed my gear, camera, flashlight, water. I'd planned to spend 3 hours here, get my shots, document everything, be back in Vegas by dinner, easy trip, safe trip, normal trip. I climbed through a gap in the fence and walked into Yucca Flat Site 7. The silence hit me first. Complete silence. No wind, no birds, no insects, nothing. Just dead air and the crunch of my boots on cracked asphalt. The street looked wrong. Not destroyed, not ruined, just preserved. Like someone had paused time in 1955 and never pressed play again. The houses stood in neat rows, lawns long dead but still visible, sidewalks intact, even the street signs were still there. Maple Avenue, Oak Street. Names that meant nothing in a place that never really existed. I walked down Maple, camera ready. This was perfect. Exactly what I'd hoped for. The light was good. The composition incredible. This was going to be my best series yet. I approached the first house. Number 23. The front door was closed but not locked. I pushed it open. It creaked, loud in that absolute silence. Inside, everything was still there. Furniture, wallpaper, pictures on the walls, a couch, a coffee table, a TV, all from the 50s, all perfectly arranged, and sitting on the couch, mannequins, a family, father, mother, 2 children, plastic faces frozen in smiles, wearing clothes from 1955, posed like they were watching TV, like they were having a normal evening, like they were about to have dinner and then cease to exist in nuclear fire. But the blast never reached this house. This house survived. And the family, they were still here, still waiting, still smiling. I took photos. Lots of them. The mannequins were unsettling but fascinating. The way they were posed, the detail, the clothing. Someone had taken time with this, had made it realistic, had created a snapshot of American life just before everything changed. I moved to the kitchen. More mannequins. A mother figure at the stove, a child figure at the table. Dinner was still set out. Plastic food on plastic plates, forks and knives positioned perfectly. A frozen moment, a captured instant. I loved it. This was exactly the kind of eerie beauty I documented. The strangeness of abandoned spaces, the way they hold echoes of life that's gone. I left that house, moved to the next one. Number 25. Similar layout, different mannequin arrangement. This family was in the bedrooms, parents in one room, children in another, all lying in beds, eyes open, staring at ceilings, waiting for a blast that came and went 70 years ago. I photographed everything, room by room, house by house. Each one was different, different poses, different moments captured. One house had a birthday party scene. Mannequins around a table, cake with candles, presents, celebration frozen forever. Another had a family at breakfast, reading newspapers dated June 3rd, 1955, the day before the test, the last normal day this town would ever have. I was maybe 2 hours in when I noticed something strange. The mannequins in the houses, they were looking at me. Not all of them, just some. Their heads were turned, facing the windows, facing the doors, facing where I was standing. But mannequins don't move. They can't. They're plastic, fiberglass, static. I told myself they'd always been positioned that way, facing outward. I just hadn't noticed before. I kept photographing, kept moving through houses. But the feeling grew stronger. That sense of being watched, of being tracked. I'd enter a house, take my photos, leave. And when I'd glance back through the window, the mannequins inside would be facing the door, facing where I'd just been, watching me leave. I checked my watch. 11:47 a.m. I'd been here almost 3 hours. Time to go. Time to get back to my car. Back to civilization. I had enough photos. More than enough. This had been a successful trip. I headed back toward the fence, toward the way I'd come in. But the street looked different, longer. I walked, kept walking, past houses I didn't remember seeing before. Number 47, number 52, number 68. The numbers kept going up. But there were only supposed to be 40 houses in this site. I'd read the documents, seen the maps. 40 houses, no more. So why was I passing house number 73? I turned around, decided to go back the other way. But behind me, the street stretched just as long, just as far. Houses in both directions, endless houses, all identical, all yellow, all watching. I pulled out my phone, checked my GPS. No signal. Expected. I was in the middle of nowhere. But the GPS showed something strange. My location was wrong. According to the map, I was standing in the exact spot my car was parked, but I could see my car through the fence, 3 blocks away, maybe more. How was my GPS showing me in 2 places at once? I started walking faster, toward the fence, toward the gap I'd climbed through, but I wasn't getting closer. The street just kept extending, block after block, house after house. I'd walk 100 feet and the fence would still be the same distance away, like I was on a treadmill, moving but not advancing. I started running, full sprint. The fence ahead, the car beyond it. Salvation just yards away. But the street never ended. The houses kept appearing. Number 96, number 121, number 154. Impossible numbers, impossible houses. I was trapped in a neighborhood that was expanding faster than I could run. Growing. Spreading. Keeping me inside. I stopped, gasping, terrified. Looked at the houses around me, the windows, and in every single one, mannequins, pressed against the glass, facing me. Dozens of them, hundreds. Plastic faces, frozen smiles, empty eyes, all watching, all waiting. I heard a sound then, a door opening. I spun around, the house behind me. Number 107. Its front door was open, had been closed, now open, and standing in the doorway, a mannequin, but wrong. Its mouth was moving, slightly, mechanically, like a ventriloquist dummy, and it was making sounds, words, distorted, broken. Welcome, home, stay, family, dinner, ready? It stepped forward, off the porch, onto the sidewalk. Stiff movements, jerky, unnatural, but moving. Walking toward me, more doors opened. All around me, mannequins emerging, stepping out, filling the streets, all walking, all moving, all converging, all saying the same things in those broken mechanical voices. Welcome home, stay with us, be family, forever. I ran. Again. Chose a random direction. Away from them. Away from those things. But they were everywhere. Every street. Every house. An army of plastic people. All wanting me to stay. All wanting me to be part of their frozen moment. Their captured instant. Their preserved suburban nightmare. I found another gap in the fence. Different section. Miles from where I'd entered. I didn't care. I climbed through. Fell onto the desert sand, scrambled to my feet, looked back. The mannequins were at the fence, standing, watching, not following, not crossing that boundary, just watching, waiting. Their plastic faces pressed against the chain link, and behind them, the houses stretched, endless, more than 40, more than 100, more than I could count, an infinite neighborhood. An impossible town, existing in a space that shouldn't be that big, that couldn't be that big, but was. I ran through the desert, found my car eventually. Hours later, miles from where I'd parked it. Or maybe not. Maybe it moved. Maybe the desert itself shifts around that place. I don't know. I don't understand. I just know I got in, started the engine, drove away. Didn't stop until I reached Vegas. Didn't look back until I was surrounded by lights and people and noise. Real noise. Real life. Real motion. Not that frozen, preserved, wrong silence of Yucca Flats Site 7. I reviewed my photos later. Every single one showed the same thing. Empty houses. No mannequins. No furniture. No staged scenes. Just vacant rooms. Bare walls. Broken windows. Exactly what you'd expect from an abandoned test site. But I'd seen them. I'd photographed them. They'd been real. Or had they? Were the empty houses real? Or were the furnished ones real? Which version of Yucca Flats exists? The documented one? The abandoned one? Or the preserved one? The one where families still live? Where dinner's still on the table? Where time stopped in 1955 and everyone's still waiting, still smiling, still watching, still calling out welcome home to anyone who wanders in. I think the nuclear blast didn't just damage those houses. It did something worse. It trapped them, froze them in a moment between before and after. A space where the test both happened and didn't happen, where the families both evacuated and stayed, where time both moved forward and stopped completely. And that place, it's hungry. It wants to be complete, wants to be real, wants to have actual people in those houses, actual families at those tables, actual lives being lived in that impossible preserved moment. And if you go there, if you walk those streets, it tries to keep you, tries to make you part of the scenery. Another mannequin, another plastic person, another frozen smile waiting in an empty house for a blast that will never come. If you're intrigued by more chilling accounts from people who've explored places where time doesn't work correctly and reality has been fundamentally broken, make sure to subscribe to Campfire Nightmares. And here's what I need to know. Have you ever been somewhere that felt frozen? A place where everything seemed preserved but wrong, like you'd stepped into a moment that should have ended long ago? Tell me about it in the comments. Because I think there are more test sites like this. More places where we broke reality with our weapons and experiments. More neighborhoods where the families never really left.